Hello once again, Baku crew and any and all other Bakugan Brawlers watching. I'm BakuBrat96 here with another subscriber requested deck profile. This is number 4 of Evolutions and it is a red, white, and blue theme, if you will. America flag once again, just like the Colossus. This time, however, it is a new team. I'm definitely happy with how this deck turned out as far as the Nanogun, the Baku core lineup, the team itself, and the deck. It's just very well built. I hope you all think so. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and get straight into it, starting off with the team, of course. Debuting the Aquos Demork Ultra, even though it is from Nanogun Rising, it did not release. It actually released along Evolutions, so kind of a loophole there. But anyway, it has a Helix and Green Fist core, B power of 900 with 1 damage. Not a lot of damage there, but the Helix score is very nice, and 900 B power is nothing to ignore. For the Haos Bakugan, I am running the Dragonoid, a lot better than the Nanogun Rising Haos Dragonoid. Double Green Fist core, B power of 500 with 5 damage, so pretty even there, 5 and 5. But if it lands on a Green Fist, it is going to get another 500 B power. So all in all, if you're running the 100 or even 150, you are going to have a Dragonoid that is at 1100 or 1150 B power. And, a lot better than the last Haos Dragonoid. And I think in this team, it works out very well. Then finally, I am trying out Pyrus Sectonoid once again. For anyone who watched my Bakugan Evolutions themed tournament, I did use this in a mono Pyrus build, and it wasn't that great, but I'm hoping in this deck it is a little better. Anyway, Sectonoid has a double blue shield lineup, B power of 100, which is really low, awfully low. Kind of hurts the deck in and of itself, but I have some ways around that, because that 10 damage is the upside I'm really looking for, and kind of the reason I wanted to try it out once again. For the Baku core, though, a little different, but I say that it's usually always the same. The Magic Shield are plus 650 B power. Get the most you possibly can out of the core. For the 1 Helix, randomly using the plus 1 Frost Strike because the deck does have a hint of a Frost Strike theme along with damage, so I thought to capitalize on that and go ahead and use the core that gives it. Then for the Green Fist lineup, I run 1 plus 150 B power plus 2 damage. And then finally 2 plus 100 B power, but Pyrus and Haos get plus 3 damage, and then Aquos and Pyrus get plus 3 damage, just to kind of help the different factions of the team. Going ahead and debuting the figures themselves, though. Here is the Stellar Aquos Demork. Spin Master did an excellent job on the Demork, very well painted. It did come in the new Bakugan with Darkest Sectonoid. I believe you can get Aquos Demork, Darkest Sharktar Ultra, and I believe there's one other Bakugan you can get, but I'm not 100% sure. Here is the Evolutions Haos Dragonoid. Very nice. The mold's been around for a while. It's been out since Nanogun Rising. They haven't really changed it much, but it is a really cool looking Dragonoid nonetheless. I do like the new Haos paint design. Really cool. We got the yellow core there. And then lastly, we do have the Burnt Mosquito, which never wants to open. Very interesting Bakugan. I really do like the Ventus Platinum, and I am currently working on a deck with that one. That will be probably out next week sometime. Now, before I get into the Nanogun, I definitely want to get into the cream of the crop, and that is the actual deck profile. Starting things off, I am using 2 Aquos Bright Beams, 1 energy for plus 2 damage, and you get to draw a card. This deck has a lot of draw power in it, and the damage does help. The damage stacks. A lot of the cards do cost 1 energy in this deck, and it's very helpful. Next up, 2 Crushing Shadows, 1 energy for plus 200 B power, and 1 Frost Strike. Already the Frost Strike is starting to show in the deck, and it just pairs really well with damage because it kind of helps negate your opponent's flip cards, sort of. It at least makes them cost more energy. After that, 2 Echo Search, 1 energy to scan, draw 1, and scan again. It can just set up your earlier or later turns, depending on when the game state is, early or late game. Just really good to figure out, what you want to do, kind of draw into the deck. 2 Electric Howl, 1 energy for plus 2 damage, and 1 Frost Strike. Again, just the running theme of the deck, so any card that has synergy, I threw in. 1 Fusion Mind Burn, 1 energy for plus 100 B power, and you get to draw 1. I would arguably cut this or add this depending on the other 1 energy cost cards you have. Feel free to run any ratio you want. I just have the 1 copy, but I would probably run it at 2, but I'm not sure what I would cut for it. Then 2 Ray of Pyrus, really solid card. 1 energy for plus 3, but then it has Stoke, so when you play the card you can pay an additional 2 energy to gain the effect a second time. So it's either a 1 for 3 or a 3 for 6, depending on how you play it. 2 Blinding Aqua Bite, 2 energy for plus 4 damage, and 2 Frost Strike. Again, both themes of the deck you want on 1 card. It couldn't get much better than that. Chomping Tornado, so 2 of these to help with the B power, 2 energy for plus 500. It's really good. Not necessarily going to help out Sectonoid that much, but it will help Demork and Dragonoid. After that is 2 Flash Attack, 2 energy for plus 5 damage. A pretty solid card, really basic. Now this card in particular might help Sectonoid against an opposing Bakugan. Hot Potato, 2 energy, I have 2 of these. You remove an enemy Bakugan's Bakucore, negate its effects, and you return it to the return the Bakucore to the field face down. A really good card, and it kind of helps negate your opponent if they're like adding up B power with a magic shield, if you will, so on and so forth. Just kind of a way to cheat in a win with Sectonoid, hopefully. Same reason why I run the 2 of Might of Syndius. I mean, this is kind of a damage deck anyway. So 2 energy for plus 1 damage, and then the turn you play it, the victor is decided by highest damage rather than B power. So that effectively turns Sectonoid into the strongest Bakugan of the team, kind of. And it's just a really solid card. Definitely run 3 of these if you can, but again, I only have the 2. Kind of stinks. I do run a 1 of Pyro Boiler. 2 energy for plus 6 is stellar. Normally you get effects that are 3 energy for 6 and something else. So having access to a card that is 2 energy for 6 is just really nice. A lot of upside there. Much like Chomping Tornado, I do use 2 Scarf Strike, so 2 energy for 500 B power again. It's just a way of us to run the same card at 4 of, because you can only run 3 of the same card. So this kind of gives us a way to cheat out that rule. But I mean, you could do the same by running 3 Chomping Tornado and 1 Scarf Strike, but you all know what I mean. Next up, I do have Righteous Strike. I thought I had, yes, so I do run 2 of these, 3 energy for plus 6 damage, and you do get to draw 1. But then Trifecta, if your Bakugan have 3 or more Bakukores attached to them, you may return it to your hand. So really cool being able to recycle the card if possible. Otherwise, 3 for 6, and the draw power is really nice, and that is why it's in here. Not necessarily for the Trifecta ability. Again, to help with our plays and draw power, Cloak Defense gets us into the cards we want. 4 energy to scan and then draw 3. Enough said. A hero I will always run in all of my damage decks is of course the Pyrus Mac. 4 energy for a hero card that the turn you play it, the victor is decided by highest damage instead of B power. Otherwise, your Bakugan just have plus 2 damage. So it's really nice. You know, for instance, it's turned Sectonoid from 10 damage to 12 without anything else, without your Bakucore, other cards, and that is just really strong. So, really awesome hero to play in this deck. It's another card I would probably max out at 3, but I only have the 1 for now, unfortunately. Now, I do use 2 Pyrus Overload, 4 energy for plus 500 B power, and then remove all Bakucore attached to a Bakugan and place them onto the field. So really good to negate your opponent, you know, get a magic shield off of them or anything that they're playing to get around like the new mechanics for evolutions. However you want to use it, it's just a really good defensive card, and it gives you 500 B power on top for your own Bakugan, which is just really good. I really like the card. A card I don't use much, I am running one of, is Aqua's Steam Strike. So 5 energy for 5 Frost Strike and Double Strike. So this is pretty much kind of a win more card that you could play on a turn where a team attack occurs, or on a turn, say, for in this instance with this build, a turn that Sectonoid goes through, because you would have 5 Frost Strike on top of 10 damage. It's Double Strike, so it deals double it, so it's 20. So that's just crazy. And for 5 energy, not bad. Cute little combo there. Going back to the B power side of things, I am running 2 Leg Lance Attack. 5 energy for plus 1400 B power is just really solid late game. I kind of wish I was running Air Zero in this build so that I might be able to cheat this out on a potential turn 2 or later, but it's not a bad card by itself. Pandoc's Punch, however, is arguably an awful card. 5 energy is a lot for only 4 damage and the ability to draw a card, but I felt like this deck drawing into things is really important, and I wanted to keep the damage theme going, so it just fit really well. Feel free to change it out how you wish, but I really like the card personally. Now, before the flip cards, I am running a 1 of Isolation, 3 energy for plus 8 if you only have 1 open Bakugan. I thought it would be just a cute 1 of to run, and I don't use it a whole lot. The flip cards are really basic. I didn't want to just cram this deck full of flip cards. After all, the Aquos Darkest deck that was just uploaded had a lot of flip cards in it, and I want to keep things different. Speaking of that, by the way, I will have a link in the description for that previous deck profile if you missed it. But continuing on with this profile, I do run a Block Outsiders, 3 energy to block non-Pyrus Bakugan. Counter Outsiders, which is 3 energy to block non-Aquos Bakugan. And then finally a Halt Outsiders, which is 3 energy to block a non-Haos Bakugan. So that does it for the main deck. Now moving on to the Nanogun, which really stellar. I feel like I finally have a lineup of Nanogun that fit a team of Bakugan really well. First off is Pyrus Nano Riptide. On a Green Fist, plus 200 B power. On double Green Fist, plus 600 B power. So not, you know, crazy, unrealistic to hit. I mean, it's definitely possible, especially with this deck because it does have so many Green Fists. So I thought it just worked out. Nano Sludgeum, Aquos Nano Sludgeum. On Helix, you get to add a Bakucore from the field to your active Bakugan. And then on Helix and Green Fist, you get to steal a opposing active Bakugan's Bakucore for your own. So again, really good effects that are indeed possible to hit with this deck. Landing on 1 Helix is possible. You know, Demork does have the 1 Helix, and it does only give 1 Frost Strike, but being able to take an additional core with that Frost Strike is really nice, and kind of was what I was thinking when running, or when choosing this Nanogun. And then same with the last effect, you know, if it goes off, it goes off, but really possible to hit with this deck. Then finally, Haos Nano Siphon, another Leech Boy. On Magic Shield, you get to add a Bakucore from the field to your active Bakugan, and then on a Blue Shield and Green Fist, you get to steal a Bakucore from an opposing active Bakugan for your own. So again, really good, you know, those same effects that you want to see. Just kind of breaking the game effects, sort of, at least in my opinion. And again, with the Magic Shields running and the Green Fist, this team, I really think these Nanogun are going to be able to get off. It's a shame I can't do a gameplay or a test run, but I might in the future. I don't know. Let me know in the comments down below what your thoughts are on this deck. Is it as good as I think it is? Is it a solid build? But before I wrap everything up, I almost forgot. You know what? I'm going to unfold these Nanogun. So this is the Pyrus Nano Riptide. Again, the Nanogun are all manual, so very interesting. And then Haos Siphon. I can't. You know, I always forget. Oh, well, that was a fail on camera. I always forget to review the Nanogun almost because they're manual, and I always save them till last because I want to open them with their character cards or ability cards. So that was Siphon, and then you know we got to have that Angry Gary up in here with the Nano Sludge'em. So hilarious, it is Angry Snail. But that does it for the Nanogun. Again, really cool. They do peg in to your actual Bakugan, if I can find the peg. There is Sludge'em's peg, which is kind of awkward how it's like inside the shell. But if it sticks in there, there we go. Drago now has a wicked upgrade. And that is a perfect way to wrap up the video. So, thank you all for watching. I do hope you enjoy as always. Don't forget to drop a like and subscribe to the channel for more awesome Bakugan unboxings, deck profiles, gameplays, and monthly raffles, which the current one is a Diamond Stinger. Link in the description down below. Stay safe, and remember, Bakugan, Brawl.